What's the worst thing a teacher ever did to you? In 10th grade, my chemistry teacher, Mr. Thomas, singled me out from day one. I was the only black kid in advanced chemistry, and he made sure I knew I didn't belong. He'd accidentally skip my raised hand during question, then call me out for not participating. When I aced the first test, he pulled me aside and said someone must have helped me cheat. The harassment escalated when I scored highest on the midterm. He announced to the class that some students were probably getting unfair advantages at home. Everyone stared at me. My mom called the school, but Mr. Thomas played innocent. He told the counselor I was struggling to keep up and needed extra support. The administration bought it completely. Things got worse after parent-teacher conferences. He told my parents I lacked the natural aptitude for advanced sciences and should consider dropping down to regular chemistry. My mom was furious, but he had reports showing I was disruptive and unfocused. I started staying after school to prove him wrong. He'd sigh dramatically whenever I asked questions and check his watch constantly. 2 weeks before finals, he assigned lab partners for our final practical. Instead of letting me work with my usual partner who I had great chemistry with, he stuck me with Jake. He barely showed up to class and admitted he'd probably just copy whatever I did. I spent the entire weekend preparing for that practical. My brother helped me practice at home with a chemistry set we bought. I knew every formula. The day of the practical, I executed everything flawlessly. Jake literally copied my every move, asking me to explain each step. Other students came over to check my setup because it looked so clean and organized. When I submitted my lab report, I felt confident for the first time all semester. I'd written everything down perfectly, shown all my calculations, and even caught a small error in the provided formula that I noted in my conclusion. Jake turned in his report right after mine. His handwriting was messier, but the content was identical to mine. A week later, Mr. Thomas handed back our graded practicals during class. He called out the top scores first. Jake, excellent work, 89%. Jake looked confused, but didn't say anything. Then he got to mine. He dropped the paper on my desk without making eye contact. A giant red 23% was circled at the top. I felt my stomach drop. I raised my hand to ask about my grade, but Mr. Thomas cut me off. See me after class if you have questions about your performance. His tone made it clear I shouldn't bother. After everyone left, I approached his desk with my paper. Mr. Thomas, I think there might be a mistake. I followed every procedure correctly. He didn't look up from his gradebook. Your methodology was flawed from the start. The calculations were sloppy. This is what happens when students bite off more than they can chew. I pointed to specific sections where I knew I was right. He waved me away and said grade discussions were over. When I pressed him on why Jake got such a high score for identical work, he said they weren't identical at all. That night, I came home devastated. My mom found me at the kitchen table staring at the paper, and I just broke down. That grade would destroy my GPA and end my chances at the pre-med program I'd been working toward. My older brother Brian walked in and saw me crying. He's a chemistry major at State. I handed him my graded lab report without saying anything. He started reading through it, and his expression changed completely. This is impossible, he said. Look at question 12. You wrote the perfect answer for the neutralization calculation, but he marked it wrong and wrote unclear reasoning in the margin. Brian grabbed a pen and started checking my work. Every answer I'd been marked down for was actually correct. This isn't grading, Brian said, his voice getting angry. This is sabotage. We drove straight to school the next morning before first period. Brian marched into the principal's office and demanded they review my test with another chemistry teacher immediately. The principal tried to brush us off, but Brian pointed out the correct answers and explained why each of Mr. Thomas's comments made no sense. They called in Mrs. Jackson from AP Chemistry to review my work on the spot. She went through it and confirmed that my lab report deserved an A. Turns out Mr. Thomas had marked 8 correct answers as wrong, fabricated calculation errors that didn't exist, and given me failing marks for procedures that were executed perfectly. He was fired by lunch. He was